Ubisoft wants you to be comfortable not owning your games. I think we need to be comfortable not buying Ubisoft products. The latest rebranding of the subscription service Ubisoft Plus accompanies the release of Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. I didn't even know this was out. Does anyone care? With the it's not even out yet. It's a pre-release of Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Ubisoft has chosen this week to rebrand its Ubisoft Plus subscription service and introduce a PC version of the Classics tier at a lower price. And a big part of this, says the publisher's direction of subscriptions, is getting players comfortable with not owning their games. I thought this was just standard. Steam, you don't own anything. You just have a license that you are renting, even though you pay $60, $70, $100. There is no CD anymore. There's no physical copy. You are buying a license. It's hard to keep up with how often Ubisoft has rebranded. I mean, that's very true. I don't know what they're doing. It has rebranded its online portals for its games with Uplay, Ubisoft Game Launcher, Ubisoft Connect, Uplay Plus, Uplay Passport, Ubisoft Club, and now Ubisoft Plus Premium and Ubisoft Classic. My God, those Frenchmen don't know how to do branding. It also seems faintly bewildering why there's a demand for any of them, given Ubisoft's released only 5 non-mobile games this year. I mean, and none of them have been memorable. Name me the last good game that wasn't Valhalla from Ubisoft. Just, I'll wait, because Ubisoft doesn't make good games anymore. However, a demand there apparently is, says Tremblay in an interview with GI Biz. He's claimed the company's subscription service had its biggest ever month in October 2023, and that the service had millions with an M, of subscribers and over 500 million hours played. Of course, a lot of this could be a result of Ubisoft's various moments of refusing to release games to Steam, forcing PC players to use its services, and likely opting for a month subscription rather than a full price of the game that they were looking to buy. All those things, very true. I am so guilty of paying for Ubisoft Plus for 1 month, playing the game, and then just getting rid of it. Because it's cheaper than buying the game. And I'm not going to go back to the game. Because you know why? Again, they're not memorable. But it remains strange why enough people would want to subscribe. I think they just forgot about it. Let's be honest. I mean, you forgot. Let's talk one-to-one here. You forgot, it's been running, and you're like, oh, and now it's more expensive. And at a $17.99 a month price tag, it is not cheap to a single publisher's output. That is not a diss of anything to Ubisoft games. No, it is. It's bad. Like, don't do it. Just, if you forgot it, log in. Cancel it. It's not worth it. Why are you doing that to yourself? You can subscribe to Game Pass or PlayStation Plus and get a broad range of hundreds of games from dozens of publishers, or you can pay significantly more to only get the games made by one single publisher. Yeah, that's just a bad why. Why would you pay that much money when you can just go get Game Pass? And Ubisoft releases their games on Game Pass eventually anyway. So why would you pay that much money to hate yourself? I mean, good for you, right? Just burn the money. Just set that money on fire. You know, go to McDonald's and order a hamburger. That's how much it costs now. TV networks and movie companies tried this, and those numbers are thinning out fast, with many already compromising by returning their shows to larger streams. I mean, that's like Paramount Plus and all those other ones out there. Like, Hulu is now combining with Disney Plus. There's a whole slew of these that are like, hey, we hated cable, so we're gonna have like 2 big services, and then, you know, yeah, democracy for all, and everyone gets all the shows, and then they're like, nah, I like money, I don't want to keep paying this bucko over here, and then they just go and make their own service, realize no one wants to pay more money, now they're kind of crawling back to Netflix. Like, no one thought this was a good idea. What's the graveyard of game launches and game service companies out there that some publishing companies thought it was like, hey, it was a really good idea. Some guy got a really fat bonus for making up Uplay. And I feel like this number up here, this millions of people, is so inflated by something. It could be free trials. They could be considering maybe people from Xbox Game Pass that got access. There's a lot of things that they could do to inflate that number to actually make it sound like they're actually succeeding. To how Ubisoft wishes to see a consumer shift similar to that of the market for CDs and DVDs. People have moved over to Spotify and Netflix instead of buying physical media to keep on their own shelves, given that most people, while being a part of the problem, it's so weird to see it phased out as some faulty thinking of the company's audience. One of the things we saw, it was that gamers are used to, a little bit like DVD, having and owning their games, that the consumer shift that needs to happen. They got comfortable not owning their CD collection or DVD collection. That's a transformation that has been a bit slower to happen in games. As gamers grow comfortable with that aspect, you don't lose your progress if you resume your game at another time. Your progress file is still there. that has not been deleted. You don't lose what you've built in a game or your engagement with that game. So it's about feeling comfortable with not owning your game. Yeah, but the problem is you can get banned from that game. You lose your progress because you don't own it. There's a very big difference with that. You can't get banned from using a DVD. What you can do is buy a movie on a platform or say Amazon, and then it gets removed because they lose the publishing rights, and then it's gone from your library. That actually happened. This whole digital first ownership stuff is kind of in this weird renters bullshit. Tremblay goes on to say to GI Biz, but as people embrace that model, they will see that these games will exist, the services will continue, and you'll be able to access them when you feel like it. But no one's gonna pay $18 when they feel like, come on, dude. Your thing is so expensive. It's insane. Their right mind would pay that. One of my all-time favorite games was published by Ubisoft in 2003 called In Memoriam, missing since January in the US, and that is certainly not on its classic range. I'm sure because the company long ago lost any rights to it. Luckily for me, I own a physical copy of it, but any number of other Ubisoft games from the early 2000s stick in its classic sites have no results. There's no reason on earth to think that the same won't be true for Ubisoft's current games in 20 years. Exactly. You don't own anything. You need to like it and accept it, right? You own nothing. The only things that you can own in life is property, housing, cars, and not your dignity, because if you're paying $18, you definitely don't have that. And you're at the will of publishing rights. It's like, oh, we lost the rights to it. It's gone. Sorry, that's what you were here for, but that's tough. It's also seen fairly redundant given all the games will continue to far more ubiquitous Game Pass, where they won't be behind the technical hurdle of streaming. And indeed, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is already available to play via the Epic Game Store if you pre-ordered it there. Wait, so it's available in the Epic Game Store if you pre-ordered, but you couldn't get it on Steam, and you can't get it on Xbox, but you can only get it through Uplay Plus Classic or whatever the hell that is. That makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Everything makes sense here. Ubisoft, great company. They know what they're doing. And if you guys haven't seen anything about Heartland, just like a random tangent here, Heartland, gonna suck. And I'm gonna cover it, and it's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be, whenever that game comes out, it's gonna be one of the biggest dumpster fires right next to Suicide Squad. Oh, I can't wait for it. If for whatever reason you just adore Ubisoft's output, then yes, for $17.99 a month, you can play Skull and Bones. Oh my god, that game is hot trash. We streamed it and I couldn't even get through it. I actually dragged everybody with me to at least play like 2 hours of it, and everyone hated it. That game should have just never been released. And I'm sorry you just burnt millions, hundreds of millions of dollars making that game and putting it on delay and yada yada yada. But you know what? That's Ubisoft for you. They just don't know how to make games anymore. They just know how to copy paste Assassin's Creed. That's what they know how to do. You can play Avatar. I think everyone forgot about that one, right? Which is a lot cheaper than buying them all individually, but you won't own any of them, and you'll need to keep paying that $18 a month in perpetuity if you want to keep them right up until you can't anymore. I don't know. What do you guys think? It's something new. Steam has this. You don't own any game that you buy on Steam. I think Ubisoft's just trying to get some money because right now they're hemorrhaging because people aren't playing Assassin's Creed anymore because it's the same game over and over again, and somehow the graphics just get worse. They don't get better. Anyway, let's read the comments. Got comfortable and begrudgingly accepted the lack of alternatives are two very different things. Very true. Let's not lose perspective. We're talking about luxury entertainment here. Oh, get the fuck out. Piracy isn't your only option. Your main option is just to not play the game if you don't like its price or monetization. I'm saying this both as a former game developer and someone who pirated a lot in my past. You're not entitled to take something just because you don't like its price. That is very true. That is what an open market is. You just don't play the game. The answer is not to pirate it, it's just not to play it. Because they will eventually stop doing that because they're not making money. All these bad things that people hate, guess what? They make money, so they keep doing it. And until, say, government entities step in to stop gotcha mechanics or daily logins or all the other crap out there, and the consumer just keeps doing it and keeps spending money. Might not be you, but definitely the majority does, or they wouldn't be doing it. Pirating game doesn't communicate what you think it does to the publisher. They don't look at piracy rates and say, this is evidence we should just adjust our pricing. Very true. Piracy rates does not make the publisher say, hey, you know what? Wow, I think we're a little too expensive. That's not what they look at it as. Because many pirates will never buy the game, no matter how reasonably priced it is. Instead, it'll just communicate two things. There's demand for the game as is, including anything you don't like and think pirating will stick it to them. A pirated game is still counted as interest when it comes to post-release analysis. A pirated game with shitty feature X tells the execs the same thing as a bought game with shitty feature X, that the people seem to like X. Except for DRM. I think that one's pretty clear to people. If the demand is there, but isn't being converted to revenue, then all they need to do is fix the gap. That means stronger launch DRM, more value-add online services, more ways to make it so all pirates that have already signaled they want the game the way it is can be encouraged to indulge their interest legitimately instead of illegitimately. For me personally, I enjoy Ubisoft games. I will never pay an $18 a month subscription for them. If I'm interested enough, I'll buy it. And if I'm not, Phoenix Rising, for example, Phoenix Rising, oh god, that dumpster fire, I'll just skip it. If the sub-service is good for some people out there, then great, it's just not good for me. I mean, it's a valid counter-argument, right? That piracy doesn't solve the issue. Taking your money and not spending it on Ubisoft Plus is how you tell them that you're not interested. Stop buying the copy-paste Assassin's Creed that looks worse every year, somehow, magically, and you speak with your wallet. That is the only thing that corporations understand. And that is why like Paramount Plus isn't doing well. That's why all these like random offshoots aren't doing well, other than like the massive conglomerates, right? Like Disney, etc. So you don't own anything and you like it and you're going to accept it. What do you guys think? It's not like, ooh, Ubisoft bad. It's just, ooh, wow, Ubisoft doesn't know how to price their model at $18, which is way too expensive. And who in their right mind, other than the people who forgot that they still have a subscription, are paying this? I guarantee you 500K of those people are probably lapsed and they just forgot they're paying the money. But anyway, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this really quick video about Ubisoft and their interesting take. But make sure to join the community, guys, in Discord. Say hi. Make sure to follow all the socials, Twitter, Twitch, etc. And I will see you in the next video.